welcome, Colin, to the show. Thank you for inviting us out to come take a look at this show here.
Thanks for having us.
So, how did you come to Cameo and in directing this show?
I went to school at Medina High School, and that's when I discovered theater.
Sure.
And figured out that it's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And Cameo was directly associated in helping produce the high school shows. Went to college for this, and then I got the call from Mike Safaro, the producer, asking if I wanted to come back and direct. I moved to Indianapolis for college, and it was an opportunity to come home and work with the people that I love and a top-notch facility.
Yeah.
So it's something that I couldn't pass up.
So was NextToNormal a show that you wanted to do, or was that something that Cameo picked and paired you with directing it?
It's one that I wanted to do. It's probably at the top of the bucket list of shows for me. So being able to do it, I'm 26 going on 27, so being able to do it pretty young in my career is something that's really, really cool.
Oh, that's neat. So give us kind of the quick elevator speech breakdown of what the show is about.
The show is about a suburban family, American family that is not too unlike families in Medina, for example, as people interact with their loved ones, primarily their family, what that looks like. I think that that's one of the things that the show does really well, is it takes the lid off of a typical American family and exposes all the inner workings and all the nerves and the skeleton and the veins. All the good stuff and all the bad stuff. And in particular, this family has the matriarch, the mom of the family, deals with bipolar disorder.
They say love is blind, but believe me, love is insane.
So what can you tell us about your character in this show?
Diana is very complex. She is very, what drew me to her is just her honesty and her, she's dealing with mental illness and the way that she works through that and struggles through that, and there is some humor in there which I love, and she just sort of has every emotion and she just kind of lays it all out there, so I was so drawn to that.
Trying to find the things we feel, but some hurts never heal. Some ghosts are never gone, but we go on. We still go on. And
There's a unifying event that they all have dealt with, and it really deals how they grapple with mom's mental illness and how they grapple with each other.
I was a wild 25, and I loved a wife so alive. Now I believe I would settle for one who can drive.
There's some process that you have to go through each night, even before rehearsal, just to get yourself mentally prepared to do that. How do you go there and then find a way of not getting lost in that yourself, or being able to come back or decompress after rehearsal or after a performance?
You know, they start out as a perfect loving family, so I'm just kind of in this normal family, and even though you know, am not exactly like her in what she's dealing with, all the emotions we all deal with all the
Sure.
time.
Okay.
So to me, it's very, it is kind of an emotional roller coaster. And then getting out of it, I think, is just, you sort of feel like you got it out when you're here. You know, if you
okay,
cried,
good.
you cried, or
Yeah.
if you know, and then the cast is so wonderful, and the
Yeah.
crew, and always leaving, you know, we're always making jokes or something like that.
Sure.
We've become really close.
Yeah.
So.
Truly, like he told me, that
Because the music itself is very powerful in its message, but I don't know if catchy is the right word, but it does like penetrate you. I mean, it
Yeah.
does like get into your soul that carries that emotion versus just having a song that gets stuck in your head kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think that you hit it on the head when you said penetrating. I think what I hope for, and I think whether people recognize it or realize it or not, when I go to the theater, when I go to a movie, when I go to, you know, I think that we want to pay to feel, whether that is to feel happiness, to feel fear, to feel sorrow.
Yeah.
We want to feel, and I think that the best kind of theater is a theater that gets in your bones, it gets in your skin,
Yeah.
and you know, that necessarily isn't always comfortable. And this show does challenge in that way.
Yeah, I think it was actually my husband who said, you're not going to walk away singing the songs.
Sure.
You're not going to walk away like singing Oklahoma.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
music is so powerful
Yes.
that it really draws you in.
First of all, we need some light. You can't sit here in the dark and all alone. It's a sorry sight.
And I love that this show in particular you have put in the round.
When I saw the show in Cleveland, I saw the tour when it came through. I was hooked on the show, and I sat in the cheap seats, so I was about 1,000,000 miles away from the stage. And
Yeah.
I remember being so impacted by the music and so just blown away. I mean, to the point where you're sitting to the soundtrack and you're not seeing anything, you just see it
Yeah,
in your head.
sure.
But, you know, the emotions are coming out.
Right.
Like, why is this happening?
Yeah, yeah.
But I walked away from the Cleveland tour and just being like, is that it? You know? And the only thing that I could surmise is that my distance away from being able to connect with the actors on stage and the story was so far away that was very intentional about making sure that it's up front and center.
The price of love is lost, but still we pay.
If we're seeking authenticity as the highest priority,
Yeah.
how can you be more authentic than laying it right in somebody's lap?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a choice. You got to deal with
Sure,
it now.
yeah,
You gotta,
yeah.
you know, you gotta confront. You gotta, which is a major thematic thing in the show. You know, so.
What are some of the challenges or benefits of doing theater in this opposed to a traditional proscenium where the audience is all on one side?
Well, I think it's wonderful and wonderfully creative. I think for me, specifically, blocking was a challenge simply because it's
Sure.
not just go right or left or downstage. So I'm sort of spinning in circles, like what exit
Right.
is what. But I think it's really neat, and I think for the show it makes so much sense now that they've done it that way.
The show does a lot on its own.
Yeah.
The music is brilliant. The book is brilliant.
Yeah.
The actors who are in the show are brilliant. And you get to know these characters because there's only 6 of them. And that's something else that I think, talking about old school versus new
Right.
school, a smaller cast lends itself to being able
Right.
to, anybody in the audience has an opportunity to be able to latch on to somebody and follow their story throughout the
Right.
show.
What is some of the benefits of working with a small cast versus a large musical with a large ensemble, and lots of characters? What's the benefit with this?
Well, I think you really get to know the people, like you really are a family. I mean,
Sure.
you're spending hours upon hours upon hours with just these 5 other people. Whereas larger ones, you definitely bond with people, but it's just so intimate, and it's
Yeah.
so just, and everyone is so kind and so, wanting to care for each other on stage and off stage.
Yeah.
And it's just really a family when we're here, which
Yeah.
also helps get into the character and out of the character.
Right.
For me, I don't know about the others, but I just think the relationships here are just so great, and it's like a family.
I could not have asked for a half dozen more brave actors. All of them came in willing to work and willing to commit. I think that they saw the heart and the passion that the team, the production staff, Tom Benezzi, our music director, myself, Cameo as a company. This is a very important show for us, and I think they all saw that. And I think that by having it so close and so intimate, that people are going to feel this show in a way that they may not have felt it. Those who are familiar with it may not have felt it before, but those who are experiencing it new will definitely be whacked over the head.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
That's a great way to put it.